Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'm your ex-ho, and today's guest is Danny Anderson. So sit back and enjoy the podcast, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe.
My name is Danny Anderson. I am straight. My pronouns are he, him, and I am currently married for almost 9 years now.
And where do you live?
Oh yeah, I was born in California. I grew up in Spokane, and after spending a few years in Colorado in the Air Force, I moved back to Washington State. I've been here ever since.
All right, cool. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do a marry, shag, kill.
Okay.
All right. I always try to
I've never done this actually.
skew it towards the person that I'm with. So let me go get it, first of all. All right. You can see that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So you are going to marry one, you are going to shag one, you are going to kill one.
Okay.
Here are your choices. This is the Invisible Disability Edition. So we have Bella Hadid, Emilia Clarke, and Selena Gomez. Who are you going to marry? Who are you going to shag? Who are you going to kill?
Ooh, it's kind of hard. Actually, I've heard of Bella Hadid, but I don't know what she's famous.
She's a model.
Okay, I'll shag Bella Hadid, marry the mother of dragons, and unfortunately, I feel bad saying it, but I would have to kill Selena.
All right, Selena, you got to go. Well, somebody has to, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a violent death or anything like that. Choose to go to sleep.
Yeah, she can just go to my vet where I'm taking my cat later on today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, but I didn't need to bring that up, but it's kind of funny. Okay, so when it comes to sex, would you rather watch or be watched?
Probably watch, I guess.
You're kind of cut out there. You kind of cut
I guess
out
I'd
there.
rather watch.
Okay, you'd rather watch?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I think I'd rather watch them.
You're kind of cutting out every now and then. So,
Okay.
well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, when you were growing up, what did your parents or whoever raised you call private parts?
Yeah, exactly that probably or they would just call it by its name,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of 5 brothers.
Oh,
So yeah, they would just call it by its name, but also um, they didn't really tolerate much talk about stuff like inappropriate talk like that,
uh-huh.
just to protect us from embarrassing ourselves or something like that in public.
Were they religious at all or no?
No, my mom was definitely raised Catholic, but neither they're very just logical and stuff, I guess. No, we weren't raised. We were raised to be respectful of it. So again, we didn't embarrass ourselves because they knew
Right.
other people believed in it. So we weren't able to take the Lord's name in vain and stuff. But at the same time, they didn't actually believe it.
Gotcha.
To go to church or anything.
That makes sense. So they were together while the whole time you were growing up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were married in their late 20s, and they were kind of they started having us in their 30s, so they're definitely older than all my peers' parents were.
Were they affectionate with each other?
Yeah, I mean they would definitely they would kiss and hold hands, and my dad would give my mom foot massages and stuff like that, and they weren't overly affectionate because I don't even have a memory of my parents where they seemed like young people. They always seemed older to me by the time I had memories.
Do you think they were good role models of how to have a relationship?
Yeah, my dad was really good to my mom and would not accept any sort of like disrespect to her from anyone else, and she was like a very strong female figure. Like she ruled my brothers with like an iron and myself with like an iron fist. Like nobody disrespected my mom in our house at all. And so yeah, and my dad was he was a really good gift giver and like for anniversaries and stuff like that. And he was also like good, like he cooked and cleaned and did all that stuff. So he was good at like showing it to my mom.
Well, how has that affected you and your relationships? Do you think you're like that, or do you?
Um, yeah, so my dad was like a hyper competent individual who could like fix anything that needed fixing and stuff like that. So I'm not quite there, but I definitely like try to give a lot to my wife. And again, like I, cook her dinner and try to do things and give
Hmm. Hmm.
gifts, stuff like that.
So
So
you
yeah.
said your dad was like an awesome gift giver. Um, can you give me an example?
Yeah, apparently, like my mom had she had mentioned that she had always wanted like a Ford Mustang or something like that. So back in like the early 2000s, apparently my dad had been saving for like a really long time, and he got my mom like I think it was like an '02, really cool looking white Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got himself like a Chrysler Concorde, which is just like a big boat family looking car. And she ended up liking that better than the Mustang.
Oh, really?
But but yeah, he would always like give her like get her like really unique, cool jewelry and stuff like that. And yeah, I definitely think they set like a really good example of like respecting your partner.
Right. Well, it sounds actually really sweet. I don't hear that very much from people. Um, so, can you tell me about what I call like your sexual awakening? So, like when you first realized there's something going on in this world that I didn't really realize before, whether it was you heard something, you saw something, or you just felt something in your body. Can you kind of tell me about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I mean, I feel like most people, I was kind of always sort of like a sexual being, even from like a young age. I was starting being like attracted to like cartoon characters like Jessica Rabbit and stuff like that. And yeah, I've always been like could fall really easy, really hard for like a super pretty girl, which there
Mm-hmm.
are plenty of like when you watch TV and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as like, I don't know, like my sexual awakening, I think I remember when the American Pie movies started coming out. I was like in the fourth grade, and it instilled like such a like a yearning in me to like want to like have an experience like that or like live that kind of experience with like, really cute girls being in close proximity. And I just remember growing up in high school, like the whole thing of like, uh, we got to get laid before we graduate, and like that seemed like a really low bar. And then when it came time to actually happen, I'm like, oh, I'm probably not even going to hit that bar. I'm
Yeah.
just dealing with the same people I've gone to school with since kindergarten. It feels weird.
But you learned how to cook a really good pie.
Uh-huh, yeah, I was ready for like making them dinner.
Um, did you have any celebrity crushes like you were kind of talking about, but like specifically besides Jessica Rabbit?
Oh yeah, Cameron Diaz from The Mask.
Mm.
Like, and then also we weren't allowed to watch it, but when Something About Mary came out, it was just like heavily advertised.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures of her everywhere.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I understand what the movie's about because I had a huge fascination, like crush.
Something about Cameron. Okay, so do you have like a mainstream movie? that you can think of that had a love scene in it that you thought was really hot? Not even as a kid necessarily, even as an adult.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm almost like now getting to the point. I'm old enough now where I'm like, I don't enjoy it, like sex scenes for that reason. Like I'm not really getting anything out of it. But
Mm,
I'm trying to think because yeah, like most movies, they would usually cut to the next scene before like anything really
right.
happened. And that those are the type of movies like we weren't. My parents would allow us to watch like all sorts of violent stuff, but as soon as something started going that way, that's where they would turn the movie off. So instinctually, it's like would always make me uncomfortable if that stuff would happen. But
My a lot my parents were like that too. It was like violence, yes, sex, no.
yeah, because nobody wants to watch sex with their parents, and they don't want to watch it with their kids.
That's
And
true.
they had 5 sons, so I think they thought we don't. They're already going to have enough hormones, like we don't need to jump
Right.
puberty by showing them this. But I know there's this movie called The Girl Next Door that came out like right when I was like a junior in high school or sophomore in high school, and there weren't necessarily scenes in a full on sex, but there's like heavy innuendo. You know,
Wasn't that like a Playboy bunny that was in that or something?
she was like a girl that there's a kid who again was like a virgin in high school, and he gets like this hot neighbor girl moves in, and it turns out she was a porn star.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That type thing. But
Speaking of which, do you watch porn?
yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays, like with the internet, such easy access.
What's your go-to category that you're willing to admit?
Um, I would say I've even said it on stage. PAWG, PAWG, which stands for Fat Ass White Girl.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard you say that before.
Uh,
Um, what what is your definition of amazing sex?
um, yeah, I think like the difference between and just like kind of
You
whatever
cut out
sex
there.
is
You cut
definitely
out
like
there.
the
Hang on.
emotional.
Hang on. You cut out there when you first started talking, so I'm going to ask you that again.
Okay.
What is your definition of amazing sex?
Um, Well, the I think the difference between like really good sex and just kind of like regular run of the mill sex is just being able to for both partners to just be able to ask for whatever they want without feeling like they're being judged.
Hmm.
Uh, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like a lot of eye contact or anything like that, but just like a strong emotional connection and not just like pure mechanics.
That's a good way to put it. All right, we're going to go spin the wheel of dirty questions.
Okay.
So let me go there and find it. Gotta get rid of these. Lovely ladies. Goodbye. Go away. Hitting escape. Come on. There we go. Oh, all right.
I like all these different games and stuff you have.
Would you rather be the spanker or the spanky?
Probably the spanker, as long as the person receiving it like really liked it.
Okay. All right. How's your body image?
Um, so my body image is like only just now, like in my 30s, finally like getting good to where like growing up, out of all four of my brothers or five of us, including me, I was the only one that had like a chubby phase, like from sixth grade to like ninth grade, which felt like forever at the time. And like all my brothers were still like skinny as a rail. And so throughout high school and even my early 20s, I never felt like I was fit enough. And then I would look back at pictures now, and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I was seeing. But then I actually, once I was married, I actually kind of did let myself go, and I was up to like 240 pounds, you know. But I thought I always looked that way. I'm like, I've always looked like this. And then when I finally saw pictures, I was like, no, you didn't used to look like that. That was just like how you saw yourself. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to, honestly, once I stopped working full time, like I was able to kind of shed the weight pretty quickly.
Why do you think stopping work did the trick?
Yeah, it's really weird because I used to get so many more steps in and stuff, but I think it's because I was drinking more and I would drink energy drinks a lot, you know, like almost every morning I would have one of those. It was like a habit. And yeah, so I think between the energy drinks and the alcohol, as soon as I cut that out, it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was good.
Right. What's the best compliment you've ever been given on your naked body?
I remember one time I just had like a short couple month fling with this girl, and she was on the bed, and I just had gotten up to like get something, and then I was crawling, like crawling back into bed, and she just said something of like, essentially like, "Oh wow, like you just look so good," or something like that, you know. And I didn't necessarily like see it coming, you know. So it was,
Right. Maybe you should get some headshots like that.
yeah, I have no idea what I really look like.
Do you have any sexual regrets?
Um, I'm trying to think here. I think just spent a lot of time in my teen years and stuff worrying about stuff that I didn't need to. Like I felt like such a loser, excuse me, such a loser in high school. Or I mean, now I'm 35, so it's kind of weird that I even still refer back to like high
Mm,
school. Formative years when it's like the most important thing to you, you know. And
right.
yeah, I couldn't figure out, or it kind of bugged me. What's that?
I
Oh,
just
sorry.
said, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. But anyways, so I used to like worry about. It seemed like other people, it just kind of came more naturally to them. But as soon as I grew up, I grew into myself. It wasn't a big deal.
Mm-hmm. You became a beautiful swan.
Yeah.
Uh, do you
So
have any items left on your bucket list that you'd like to do that you haven't done yet? Your sexual bucket list, that is.
well, I'm sure you've heard me talk about, but my wife and I are polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous, and I'm not necessarily planning to do it, like laying down plans. But if it ever happened, I wouldn't be opposed to having like a good threesome with my partner and another beautiful woman. That would be
Okay. What is your hoe song? What's a song if you hear it, it kind of brings out your hoe spirit?
Um, I just remember it's really ridiculous, but there's a song called I think it's called "Nothing Like the First Time" by Young Jock, JOC, and
Okay.
I just remember listening to that when I was like just coming out of high school, thinking that it would be like a good song. Or no, like I lost my virginity like a couple months after graduating high school, and I had like a playlist like curated ready for the moment.
So sweet and sad. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is, so it's Dan, Dan underscore, and then it's Dur, it's DU and four R's, so Dur, and then another underscore son, so Danderson.
All right. And this episode's going to come out like the first Wednesday in June. So do you have
Okay.
anything around that time to promote?
I'm trying to think here. I don't think I have any June dates so far. but it kind of happens that my calendar for each month usually fills up like right at the beginning of the month.
Okay. All right. Now, as it comes the time when I'm just going to sit and listen, and you're going to tell me a story.
So the I lost my virginity, like I said, straight out of high school. We were working at a hotel in Montana, and I met a girl that went to MSU Billings, and I was so excited because she was 22 and I was 18. She was older than my oldest sibling, so I just thought that was cool.
Right.
Uh, Anyways, my one brother, he went home on like a quick week vacation because we were working like 7 days a week, and I had been sharing like a room with my buddy, and since my brother left, I got to take his room with a king size bed, and so we christened that king size bed like several times. And when he came back and found out, he was all pissed off at me for doing it, and he was really pissed and he was taking it serious. And then I reminded him, I'm like, dude, this bed has had sex on it by like hundreds, if not thousands of people before me. Like, why are you so worried that your brother had sex on him? Because I had changed the sheets already, it was
Right.
the sheets were clean. So he was so pissed off. And it was the first time in our relationship, me and my older brother, where he like considered the new information and was like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Like, it doesn't matter that you had sex on this bed." Like, yeah, but yeah, I took it a little bit too far because, like I said, I was a virgin in high school. When I came out, I met this girl, and we were working so much and doing that so much that I ended up catching mono because I was not
Oh,
getting any sleep at all, just spending every night awake with her.
oh,
So yeah, it ended kind of horribly like that.
yeah. Well, and I remember I caught a mono from someone, and I remember him saying, "I knew I shouldn't have licked the inside of your mouth." Like, wait, maybe I gave it to him. I don't know, but that was funny. Anyway, mono is it is the kissing disease.
Well, yeah, I think it's just because we weren't allowing ourselves, at least I wasn't allowing myself to get any sleep. I was just staying up all night with her and then working the whole next day. So it just broke myself down.
Yeah.
But
All right.
it was
All
okay. Thank you so much
right.
for having me.
Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, it'll be out in a couple weeks, so I'll see you
Yeah,
around.
I hope
All
it's a
right.
fun episode. Thank you.
Right. Bye bye.
Bye.